Hello, 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 everyone. Let me tell y'all, you won't believe what happened to me. I'm sorry. Just got finished eating a Reese cup. Let me just back up. Listen, I at one time years ago prayed to live a life of approvals. Okay, I prayed to live a life of approvals. Now, for those of you who don't know what it's like to constantly go through rejection and decline, it is a horrible feeling, right? So imagine you go to the grocery store and it's crowded because it's a Sunday, or maybe it's the first of the month. It's a crowded store, right? You go through the store and you put some items in your shopping cart, right? You get up to the register, swipe your card, and you see the word declined. Now, these people behind you are already impatient from having to wait for the line to move up, right? So it's nothing worse than thinking about the people behind you in the line while you're trying to get this transaction to go through, or while your card is declining, I should say. Very, very embarrassing. Well, I have to admit, it happened again. It happened again, right? But you know what I did? I whipped out another card, and there it was, approved. I totally forgot that I bought my brother a Father's Day gift. And I bought it because it was selling out, so I had to get it real fast. And that was a big chunk. But anyway, it was worth it for him, right? So I couldn't remember which card I got that off of. Obviously, it was that one. My point is, in terms of this homebound challenge, is for you to set yourself up for approval, right? One thing about credit is if you do nothing, nothing will happen. Like, your credit will stay the same. My credit stayed the same for decades until I realized that I had the power to control my credit score, and so do you. Excuse me. You don't have to hire anybody to do your credit for you if you don't want. You can do it yourself, right? You have to learn the rules of the game, the rules of the credit game, right? And then you have to be intentional and be determined to win, right? The only way to win any type of game is to learn the rules of the game, right? So you have to learn how to increase your credit score. There's several things that you can do, like a mix of credit, a secure credit card. Like, there are things that dispute what's on your credit report. Like, there are things that you can do, and I will continue to do these videos, guys, because at my lowest, my credit score was 420. And I have experienced foreclosure, repossession, student loans, like, you name it, I done been there, right? And when I say those things, I mean multiple times, right? So, and I'll do a video about that as well, because those of you who are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling, you need to understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that you can get through this, whatever your struggle is, right? And you don't need to be with someone who doesn't love you in order to accomplish it, right? You just have to trust God, right? Trust God, and He'll tell you strategies, right? He may say you're going to have to jump out there and apply for another job that pays more. You know, I know you're comfortable in this little comfort zone with this little job, but you got to step out on faith, launch out into the deep. So you have to keep your hand in God's hand. But the homebound challenge for this episode is for you to set yourself up for approval, right? In my case, I have several secure credit cards, right? Several. Now, let me just say, to be honest with you, again, I was living paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to Friday, paycheck to Monday, whatever, right? The point is, money was short. So at one time, $200 for a credit, I was like, I can't do it, until I discovered self. which I will do a whole video on self and what my review. The beautiful thing about self, the beautiful thing about self, excuse me guys, is the fact that self, you can get a credit builder account, meaning you pay $25 a month and this money goes into the savings account. I'm going to do again a video about it. The point is, once you get $200 in this in the savings account, then they'll say, oh, you're doing a great job, you've saved up over $200. Do you want a secure credit card right now? And then you can say yes or no. In my case, yes, please, because it meant that I did not have to come out of my pocket with that money, right? So, so having said that, you need to set yourself up to have constant approvals, right? So that in this case, for example, if it declines, you have a backup plan, right? So when that thing said decline, I thought, okay, not to worry, because I got plenty more where that came from, and whipped out another card and it was like approved, right? I was so excited because at one time I was not able to do that at all. At one time it was like, oh, I'm sorry, can we put this back? Can we put that back? And in the meantime, people are behind you and you can sense the tension. You can sense them being impatient, right? Or maybe they weren't, but in my mind, that's the way I felt, right? That all eyes were staring on me. It's so embarrassing, right? And then if you have children, for them to be able to witness it or even experience it, it is so embarrassing, right? It is humiliating. It is embarrassing. And so I prayed that God would set me up to live a life of approvals, right? Now, when that happens, I don't have that gut-wrenching feeling, right? I don't have that feeling of, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Then I got to figure out what I need to put back in order to make this transaction work. No, I love that I was able to whip out another card and then let's do this thing, right? So I want to challenge you to set yourself up for a life of approvals, right? So what that means is that, again, working on your credit score, working on your credit report, and with that self-secure card, you don't need, that was the beginning of my journey. So you don't need perfect credit to do that, right? But now, let me see, I have 2 secure credit cards, and I have 2 unsecured credit cards, right? And I'm working on more. The point is that you need to have a plan or put a plan in place and then take action. Again, if you do nothing about your credit, nothing will happen, right? You have to put in the work. You have to go to you can go to YouTube University to find out what are some tips and tricks. You can subscribe to my channel, and then I'm going to help you also. Because like I said, my journey started with a 420 credit score. But if you do nothing, nothing will happen. You have to put forth the effort. And personally, I don't recommend, I mean, you can hire someone to do your credit for you. But at the same time, you need to learn some of the strategies so that you will be able to do it yourself, right? So that you'll be able to do it yourself. You don't have to depend on them. I'm all about DIY. If it saves me money, then yeah, I'll do it, right? So again, I want you to start thinking in terms of, or imagining what it would be like to live a life of approvals. And then I want you to position yourself through the grace of God to be able to live a life of approvals. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and have an awesome day.